Hey everyone, this is Dr. Martha Lucas, and you are listening to the premiere episode of 10 Minutes of TCM Training, the show that helps you build your practice 10 minutes at a time. And for you patients of acupuncturists out there, or if you're someone who's just curious about acupuncture and Chinese medicine, in this podcast series, I will be explaining what happens during your treatment so you can understand how TCM or Chinese medicine works. As I said, this is the initial episode of 10 Minutes of TCM Training. This first episode is being published on the 10th of February, 2022. And I will have at least one out there on the 10th of each month. You can listen to the new episode on my YouTube channel, Dr. Martha Lucas. I am here to share my Chinese medicine knowledge because Chinese medicine is a medicine, not a mystery. Let me repeat that. Chinese medicine is a medicine, not a mystery. It is a complete system of medicine that your practitioner can explain to you that treats internal medicine and mental emotional issues, not just pain. Granted, it's most known for treating pain. Acupuncture for pain relief is very common, very, very well known, but there's so much more. And this podcast will help you learn about all of that. Today, I'm talking about pulse diagnosis because pulse diagnosis is a skill, not magic. It is a skill that is learned and beloved by many Chinese medicine practitioners out there. Maybe you're one of them, but I am absolutely one of them. I love, 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 love my method of pulse diagnosis, and so do my patients. So it's something that I teach all over the world to people, both online and in person. I love it. I love it. I love coming to your clinic and showing you the best pulse diagnosis system out there. And pulse diagnosis or pulse examination is how the correct in-depth diagnosis is made so that an effective treatment plan can be created to get the patient healthy, to remove symptoms, to treat the causes of the healthcare issue, not just the symptoms. If you only treat the symptom, believe me, it will be back. How many times over the history of time have people taken a pill for some symptom and then it comes back because the cause was not treated? Now, thousands of years before tools like the modern stethoscope were invented, physicians knew the ways and methods and had them to do what the stethoscope does and more. The stethoscope magnifies the internal sounds of the body, right? Well, our diagnostic apparatus is our well-trained fingers, the fingers that take the pulses. I train practitioners to use the fingers of their non-dominant hand, so they really do have pulse diagnosis fingers. I'll tell people, these are my pulse diagnosis, this is my diagnosis tool, and show them my left hand, and this is my treatment tool, and show them my right hand, where I needle with my right hand. And the beauty of that is that their brain, the practitioner's brain, is wired to be in touch with the patient's energy every time they put their fingers on the pulses. By placing the fingers on the wrists of the patient, we listen intently to the pulse of that patient. We know what the normal pulse feels like, or at least we should from our training. And by comparing that image in our minds and under our fingers with what we feel in the patient at the moment, we pinpoint that ailment, that symptom, that disease or condition, and the causes. Then we can make a treatment plan to address the causes of the symptom or the condition. Each wrist represents different organ systems. Feeling the left side gives us information on the heart, small intestine, liver and gallbladder, kidney and urinary bladder meridians, and in my system, the prostate and the uterus. Feeling the right side, we see lung, large intestine, stomach, spleen, pancreas, kidneys, and also in my system, Sanjiao and brain, or the central nervous system. The normal pulse feels like sine waves. And then, and this is extremely cool, partly what I love about Chinese medicine and pulse diagnosis, is that from side to side, from the left pulse to the right pulse in the person, there is the infinity symbol of energy. That means that the infinity symbol is going from the left side organs to the right side organs and vice versa, so that we are getting, when the pulses are balanced, we are getting all of the acupuncture meridians or channels healthy and communicating with each other. That is true health. That is the sign or the symbol of true health. This flow is blocked, however, if, for example, the lungs have unresolved grief, anxiety, or emotions that need to be spoken that are stuck there. So today's episode will remind you of the importance of feeling our emotions or expressing our emotions, getting your patients to understand that their emotions are better out than in. In other words, they're better expressed than stuck in the body. I don't want to say that everybody needs to be running around crying or being angry, but the emotion stuck inside is eventually going to lead to stagnation, cause blockages in the channels, and eventually lead to physical symptoms. That's why the masters said that emotions caused all physical disease, because that's what happens. The emotions get stuck, they cause stagnation. And the beauty of acupuncture is we can recycle that. The person doesn't have to be crying or screaming. Acupuncture recycles that energy. That's what I do in my trauma release therapy. It's really trauma recycle therapy, so that the pattern can be moved so the person can experience joy and be calmer. So right now, this episode is being recorded while we're still in the COVID-19 pandemic. More than 2 long years of distress, worry, grief, angst, and it has brought to the forefront the importance of the flow in the lungs for a healthy immune system. I don't do prescription Chinese medicine, so I'm not going to give you prescriptions. I don't think prescriptions work. Chinese medicine is an individualized medicine. That's our promise to our patients, to treat you for what is going on in you, not everyone else like you are a textbook case. So I feel the pulses, that's our diagnostic tool, and decide from there what point combinations to use. But a good point combination tip or hint for you is to open up the lungs with liver 14, lung 1. And remember, lung 1 would be pointed externally out toward the shoulders, but you can add Ren 14 or Ren 14 and Ren 15 to open the heart and help that energy flow out through the lungs and keep the immune system strong. I years ago treated a woman who presented, her daughter brought her, she was in her 80s, presented with this chronic heavy cough, and she was addicted to codeine. That was back in the day when you could go to 3 different pharmacies and get a prescription filled. So I'm feeling her pulses, and I could feel that her lung pulse was blocked. She'd been to every doctor, including National Jewish here in Denver, and everybody told her, there's nothing wrong with your lungs. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. But she still had this heavy cough. So I'm feeling her pulses, and I could feel that her lung pulse was blocked or stagnated, clogged. And I asked her if she had any unresolved grief in there. Well, she said no. Well, her daughter started shaking her head going, she does have unresolved grief. My sister died from breast cancer, and it's sad, but my mother just acts like nothing even happened. So I look at the patient, and she looks at me and says, I'm German. What else do you need to know? We don't express our emotions. Now, that was her view of being German, but I explained to her, this was an opportunity for me to teach someone something. I explained how her body works. I explained that when we hold in grief, especially, we don't express it, our lungs are going to get blocked. But again, what I love about pulse diagnosis in Chinese medicine is we can resolve blocks like that using acupuncture. So there you have it. Thank you for listening to this episode of 10 Minutes of TCM Training. Again, I'm Dr. Martha Lucas, and if you want to learn more about the topic that I discussed today as a practitioner, please visit lucasteachings.com. That's LUCAS teachings.com, or acupuncturewoman.com for you who just want to learn more about Chinese medicine, how it works, find a good practitioner, or you're just interested in having better health. That site is acupuncturewoman.com. You can also email me at drmlucas@acupuncturewoman.com. That's drmlucas@acupuncturewoman.com. So again, thank you for listening. Take care, and if you can, take care of someone else too.